What's going on, guys? Gibbs is back. We're talking about the RLCS Season 2 format. We're here. We're ready for Season number 2. And it's going to be an exciting one. There's just one giant league play instead of having two different splits. So it also means there's only one open qualifier. So make sure you guys are prepared for this. It's coming up really soon, so get to practicing. But let's go over the format while we're here. Open qualifiers. So this is where it all begins. Weekend number 1 is September 10th, and it is a double elimination best of 3 down to a certain amount of teams. We're not sure what that number is yet. They haven't said, but most likely 64 teams, maybe 128, depending on how many we get. Then it goes to weekend number 2, very similar to the second split of the first season. We, again, double elimination, best of 5 this time. Now, if you lose in the first weekend, that loss might carry over, and you might be in the lower bracket for weekend number 2. That's not confirmed either yet. That's how it was for the second split. I'm not sure if they'll just do a complete reset or not. But it's likely that it'll carry over. So try not to lose in that weekend number 1, so you still have 2 chances at it in weekend number 2. Now, top 8 qualify for league play. That's for each region. So 16 teams total, 8 from North America, 8 from Europe. And only one qualifier, as I said earlier, for the RLCS this time. So that means it all comes down to September 17th, that weekend, and September 18th for Europe. It's going to be a wild one. It's going to be really important for all these teams, because if you don't make it, that's like 3 months where you're just not doing much, or at least don't have a chance to make the LAN. So it's going to be very important. It's going to be a lot of teams white-knuckling their controllers, I bet. So we'll see how it goes. Then we get on to the league play. So this is when the 8 teams made it in. Round robin between all 8 of these teams in each region. 28 games total. This will be broadcasted over 4 weekends instead of what we used to do, only 2 weekends. So this will be September 21st, October 1st. Then we take a weekend off, October 15th, and October 22nd. Now, the best part about this, every single game will be broadcasted. You will see every single matchup there is. And instead of a series of 5 games, we will be doing a best of 5 games now. So that means teams are only going to have 7 games throughout the league play that are counted for a win or a loss. Like, say you 3-0 someone, it's still just 1 win versus a 3-2. So you're going to have to try and win as many of these best of 5 series as you can, because league play has gotten a lot more important as well. With the top 2, they automatically qualify for the grand finals, or the LAN, or whatever you want to call it. So those 2 teams will be flown out to wherever the destination is, just based off their league play performance. They will still play in a playoff in their region during weekend 2, but that'll be for seeding and for some additional prize money. Now, the 3 through 6 seeds, they still have a chance for the LAN. They will compete for 2 spots into the second weekend of playoffs and a berth to the grand finals. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And of course, all league play teams, they get $3,500. And that's, of course, if they show up for all games. I think they stated that if you don't show up for a game, like, each game is awarded like $500. So that's where if you don't show up for something, you might not get paid that money. So this is to just reinforce teams to make sure they show up for all their games. But $3,500 is a ton of money compared to the first season, where the online final winners were getting $3,500. Now, every single team will get $3,500 by just being a part of the league play. So that's 16 teams total. That's a lot of cash. I think it's like $56,000 just awarded right away. Now, we go on to league play tiebreaker. So this is where it gets a little interesting. So each best of 5, as I said earlier, will be considered 1 win or 1 loss. It's not 3-0 or it's not a 3-2. It doesn't matter. It's still 1 win, 1 loss. If 2 teams are tied, the tiebreaker is head-to-head record. So, of course, every team is playing each team once, so there will definitely be a record of head-to-head, and that should solve that. Thing is, it gets interesting when we have 3 or more teams tied. Then, instead of doing head-to-head first, they do individual game win percentage will be the tiebreaker, followed by head-to-head record. So this is where it is really important to try and get those 3-0s, or to try and not lose 0-3, because now they're going to take into consideration your individual games win percentage. So this could be a big deal for some of these teams. Like, even if you're down 0-2 to one of the better teams, if you can pull off a couple wins, that might really help you in these tiebreaker scenarios. So each game is still extremely important in case of a 3+ team tiebreaker. Just a little bit less important in the overall grand scheme of things. But of course, like if you win a game, you're closer to winning that series. So for that reason, they're still obviously very important. Now, there's other tiebreakers that in case teams are still tied after all this, they get pretty complicated, so I just have the website where you can check them out. It's rocketleagueesports.com/rules if you want to see the other more complicated tiebreakers. Next up, there is a weekend off during league play, and that weekend is because we will be doing a mid-season classic. Format is not known yet for the mid-season classic. I assume it'll be a little bit fun, but it will be played the weekend of October 8th. This will be broadcasted, guys, so you will be able to see this from the studio, and the games will be played online, of course, but we'll have casters at the studio for these matchups. $10,000 is on the line for each region. So this is a pretty big deal for some of these players because they could get a big portion of this money. So that's $20,000 total awarded just over this weekend. It should be a lot of fun. We still don't know the format yet, but when we do, I will let you know. Regional playoffs, week number 1, 3 through 6 seeds, as I said earlier, will be entered into week 1 of the regional playoffs. This will be on November 5th and November 6th. Double elimination best of 5 bracket. The upper bracket winner will grab the 3rd seed into week 2 of the playoffs, and the lower bracket winner, which is the lower bracket finals, will grab the 4th seed into week 2 of the playoffs. The 2 teams that make it to week 2 of these is also they qualify for the grand finals, and that's the land spot, which is the most important here. So 2 of these teams will be going home with some money, with $1,500 for 5th and $1,000 for 6th. But the teams that come in 3rd and 4th, or 1st and 2nd for this bracket, will automatically qualify for the grand finals and will play in the regional playoffs weekend number 2, which is right here. 3 and 4 seed determined by week 1 of the playoffs will join the number 1 and 2 seeds from league play. This will be November 12th and November 13th. Again, double elimination, best of 5 bracket. Placement in this tournament will determine your seed at the grand final. So it's always NA number 1 versus Europe number 4. Europe number 1 versus NA number 4, and it goes down the line. So this is where you will get your placements and some decent money as well. $10,000 awarded to first place, $6,500 to second, $4,000 for third, and $2,000 for fourth. Then, of course, we get to the grand finals, the land. Top 4 teams from NA and Europe will compete in the grand finals. Double elimination, best of 5 bracket, best of 7s for the upper final, lower final, and grand final. Same exact format that we had at the last land. And location and dates to be announced. But $125,000 up for grabs. You know, typos. Happens. $50,000 for first. $25,000 for second. $15,000 for third. $10,000 for fourth. So basically, last time we had $27,000 going to first place. Now second place pretty much gets that, and $50,000 for first, and then $7,500 to both teams tied for fifth, and $5,000 to both teams tied for seventh. So a lot of money being spread around for these players. $125,000 is more than double what we saw at the first land, and there's of course a ton of money throughout the entire season. So let's just go over the recap of the entire format one more time for you. So the events and formats, we got the open qualifier. That's 2 weekends. It starts out as a double elim best of 3, then a double elim best of 5. Top 8 move on. Top 8 go into league play, round robin, best of 5, top 6 to playoffs, top 2 with buys. Plus, there's a mid-season classic in the middle of all of that. Then we got regional playoffs. Week 1, double elim, best of 5, 2 advance. Week 2, double elim, best of 5. All 4 of those teams go to the grand final. And then, of course, the grand final, double elim, best of 5, best of 7 for some of these later rounds. Top 4 from both regions compete live. Then we get to the money breakdown, which is absolutely insane. The first season we had $75,000. This season, $251,000. League play teams, all 16 of these teams get awarded $3,500 for just competing. That's $56,000 total. Mid-season classic, $10,000 per region, $20,000 total, just for like a fun mid-season like all-star thing. Which again, we don't know the format of yet, but it should be coming soon. Then we got regional playoffs, $25,000 each. Top 6 get a cut of the prize pool, so that's $50,000 total. And then the grand final, $125,000. All 8 of these teams get a cut of the prize pool, which again totals to $251,000 for the RLCS Season 2 prize pool. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. It's going to be a lot of fun seeing these players compete for a lot more money. And I can't wait to meet the new players at the LAN or meet the old ones coming back. It's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be a ton of fun to watch, guys. I hope you're there to watch it along with us. And yeah, just good luck to all teams. And we'll see you guys next time, or I'll see you at the studio. Something at some point. Have a good night, guys.